All right, I'm here with Brannon Patrick. This is my brother-in-law's brother. So I've gotten to
We're just brothers.
Yeah, we're brothers at this point.
Yeah.
But that's the connection. But B is a master when it comes to communicating with people about real problems. And so he's been in the therapy world helping people for a long time. And I've gotten to do some really cool work with him, retreats and some other projects, and who knows what's ahead. But it's good to have you out here this
Thanks,
morning.
Chase.
Thanks for picking this freaking sweet spot.
Yeah.
So first question, what is your definition of darkness and light metaphorically?
It's interesting, Chase. Here we are. So all around us is burned. This place burned down 2 months ago, and I think without the dark, you can't really have the light. So without the burn, without the dark stuff, the new plants won't come out and grow and thrive. And so I actually really appreciate the darkness, and I in my work I see it every day.
Yeah.
And I was telling my group last night, I said this, from this, from these ashes, from the darkness that you've been in, you can create more and experience more in your life because of that. And so that's what I see. I think in order to go from darkness to light, you think of a seed that's underneath this burnt stuff. It has to have the courage to crack open,
Yeah.
and then it has to have the strength to push through that dirt. So you can stay stuck in the darkness for forever, and unless you're willing to push through and bring your face up into the light, then it's not going to happen. So you got to leap, you got to jump, you got to have courage.
Yeah.
And that's the way out into this beautiful light. So
That's cool, man. And I actually really like that you picked this place in particular. It's, as you're saying that, I'm looking around and seeing all these little specks of green that are making that transformation and that push.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so with that metaphor, have you ever experienced a sunrise in your own life? And it can be anything big or small.
All the time. I think of like enlightenment, sometimes pride, just naivety,
Yeah.
rigidity and thought, really get in the way. And it's through my own experience in life. So having been through things myself, having watched people go through things, kind of get me out of that darkness. So, and the darkness is where my eyes are just closed to things. And so the enlightened feeling is like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Right.
Oh, a new paradigm, a new perspective that I never had the courage enough to actually look at. It's so freeing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a broad, vague way to answer that question.
Yeah.
But like I could give specific examples.
Yeah. What about? Do you have any specific one that comes to mind?
Yeah. Let me think. So I used to think, here's one for you. I used to think to be a good man, what that meant was to work hard, right?
Right.
So I became a workaholic, and also to be a good man, it means you're helping people. So I'm a therapist. I was helping people and I was working hard, and I felt kind of gross. And
That's an interesting word to use.
Yeah, because here I am doing all this good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I felt kind of gross, and I was like, I'm not living in the light.
Yeah.
So I had to evaluate what's driving me.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, fear is. I'm afraid that I'm not going to make enough money. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be man enough to contribute to this world. So I'm going to work. And it wasn't until I realized that fear that I could get out of the darkness of that. And when I did realize that fear, it's been fascinating what's happened. I actually feel like I've opened up my life more to help people on a larger scale. I have more energy. I have more life to give because my life is balanced, and I'm not working a ton. I'm coming up doing sunrises with Chase
I
instead.
know, man. I love it.
So I'm watching God just like take me and do stuff with me because I'm actually having boundaries with these beliefs that I thought were good.
Yeah.
And to actually realize what that fear was doing to me has made it so that I've faced the darkness, and then the light's just kind of there. It's coming. So does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I mean, as you're talking, I was thinking about that book you and I had kind of a small discussion about essentialism.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things. Or 4-hour work week, or any of those where it's like, I don't have to just work and just work to appease some shame-driven part of myself. It can be
some should thing that someone's told me that's a good thing somehow, right? Like, why am I buying into that story?
Yeah, and I love your phrase that you use all the time. Don't
shit on yourself.
Don't shit on yourself.
Yeah, that's darkness right there. If you're stuck under this heaping pile of should, then you're in darkness. It's dark under that should.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, what about the word wholehearted? What does it mean to you to be wholehearted?
I love that question. I would say it means that you're in alignment and congruent with God. And when I say God, it's like you start to realize your purpose, and you really feel alive. And as you feel alive, you're able to connect. Our heart's all about connecting. So you can connect with others in a real deep way. You can connect with God. You're really connected to yourself. You're connected to Mother Nature. You're mindful of the present moment. You're not always like worrying about something else or stuck in the past, but you're present so that you can connect. And I think that takes being healthy in all ways, like physical, spiritual, emotional, sexual, like all ways. You're balanced out and you're wholehearted in that way.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so with that definition, who's somebody that represents that to you, and how have they impacted your life?
You're gonna laugh at this.
Yeah, tell me.
Willie, my dog.
Hell yeah, dude. He's with us.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of cheating because dogs just. I think their souls are maybe a little more progressed than ours. So wild and free and authentic and just wholehearted.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't worry about the shoulds. He'll take a crap right in front of you. And he doesn't care what people think about him.
He has done that this morning, actually. We saw him jump just down that way. Yeah.
Absolutely. A couple of other people. I have a friend up in Alaska, Russell.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And he's been through a lot in his life. Mm-hmm. And just his heart is so good. And he's a wholehearted man. So he's not perfect.
Right. Yeah.
None of us are perfect.
That's not what it means, right? It doesn't mean being perfect.
No,
it means you're
not
trying
at all.
Everything you got,
right.
though.
But he's just there's connection there to his family, to God, to others, and there's a commitment to just create love in his life.
Yeah.
So he's a great example of a wholehearted man to me.
Absolutely. Okay, so with those examples, what have they done to help you though? Like, is it just nice to have them, or have they guided you in some way?
Not just guided me, they've changed my life
Yeah.
drastically. In fact, more than maybe anything else is the examples of people that can love and be loved.
Yeah.
So it's a feeling, Chase. It's just feeling that from people in my life. It's probably the most important thing in my life. So I don't know if I can actually put words to it of what it means.
You've spoken it perfectly.
Yeah.
It feels right, because I'm starting to think of people and how they've impacted me, and I can't phrase it. It's just I love what they've done.
Yeah, you just feel it from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about shame? Who does shame tell you that you are, and how do you combat that?
Shame confuses you about who you are. So in every way, it just tries to manipulate you knowing and seeing the real you.
Right.
So it can do it in all different kinds of ways. It's really tricky and strategic. Shame can show up as pride and arrogance. Shame can show up as just crumbling and trying to become wallpaper, right? Shame is the thing that disconnects you from yourself and from God. So how do you combat shame?
So what is it for you though? Like, what
personally?
Personally. Yeah.
My shame, I've worked through so much shame in my life. But the way it's really attacked me, it's interesting when you kind of look at what I do now. But I was the guy who would not raise his hand in class ever.
Yeah.
And I was scared. I was shy. I would never ask a girl out. I didn't have very many friends. I just knew I wasn't enough, and I knew people wouldn't accept me.
Yeah.
And so I never spoke up. I hated to speak in public, anything like that. And talk about darkness to light. I've worked through that a lot, and now I'm like out there.
I'll say, man, yeah.
Yeah. So I was known as kind of the shy, quiet, scared kid.
Yeah.
That's who I was. So, and now I'm kind of way too out there for some people. And I'm not scared of much in terms of what people think about me. So, yeah.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that sums it up pretty well. So
yeah. Awesome, Chase. This has been fun talking about
I'm glad,
this.
dude.
Yeah, and I love doing it with the sunrise. It's
I know,
beautiful.
it's cool halfway through when you're talking, having it finally just start hitting your face.
And
I
then
didn't
you can
see
feel
it,
the heat, the warmth of the sun. It's amazing.
It's already starting to pick up.
So now we're warm now, but now we're gonna go Wim Hof.
Yeah, exactly.
Get ready.
Here we go. Talk about wholehearted.